up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy D Dyson. Love and Death, HBO Max original series, limited series, and I must say Elizabeth as Candy Montgomery deserves every bit of praise for playing this role. Now, in the beginning, you kind of look at it like from the trailer, like, okay, she is a typical housewife, quirky. She just does everything, follows the rules, go to church every Sunday. This is in Wiley, Texas. So the Bible Belt of what a housewife is supposed to be. You take care of the kids, you cook for your husband, you make sure the kids get home, you make sure they go to school, you clean up the house, you know, you chill with your friends. And she was just that typical housewife where just perfect life. She wanted something more. And she got that in Alan Gore. And played by, at the tip of my tongue, god dang, it just slips the tip of my tongue, like Jesse, if that's his name, but man, it slips the tip of my tongue. I just mentioned him in the new Leonardo DiCaprio movie because he's in there. I didn't know that he gained a whole bunch of weight for this because he was trying to portray Alan Gore. And hats off to him for portraying it. Everybody, you know, around me was like, how in the hell would somebody be attracted to someone looking like that? But like I said, the real Alan Gore, you got to understand, this is the 80s, like 1980. It was just someone she knew all the time that was kind of like her. You know, he went to work and, you know, he came home to his wife and his kids, and they both went to the same church. They sung in the choir along with, you know, Candy's husband as well. And just someone she just, hey, I want to have an affair with you. So she set that up from the beginning, and how everything was going to go. She planned it. She planned it well. And you could tell from the first interaction, very nervous. And then after a while, she just desired it. Like, you see, when a woman desires it, it's just a different level. And it got to the point where Alan looked at it like, hey, Betty's pregnant again. Because it affected his relationship with his wife so much that his wife was truly unstable and had mental health problems because of all the things in their relationship. He even mentioned that she cheated on him with, you know, when she was a teacher, that he still stayed, and they worked through that. So now that it's kind of like a karma situation, she's in a position where it's mentally messing with her, and how he's not really for her anymore. Like, he doesn't really want to be intimate with her. He doesn't really want to do a lot with her because he's with someone else, with Candy, basically. And Candy just goes about life as, this is just one thing. It's just, this is it. And still love my husband. I still love my kids. It was something totally different for her. For her, her emotions turned off, but eventually it was more for Alan than it was for Pat, but she still knew how to separate the two. And Alan was kind of like, man, I think we kind of should just be done, you know, because it's affecting my relationship, because I don't really want to be with her. I'll be, you know, come home, go to sleep, don't really want to be around her. And Candy didn't want that. And Alan would kind of persist. It was like, man, all right, we need to be done. So they broke it off. And after that was, you know, a few months later, no one really knew. It was just kind of like whatever. And it was at a point where Betty suspected a whole lot, and she just flat out asked her, like, hey, did you do that with Alan? And to my surprise, Candy had that, yeah, I did, but that was months ago. I don't mess with him anymore. I don't love him. Betty flipped the switch. Betty went and got the axe. And because she was so mentally unstable, she was like, you can't have him. She just had that notion of you can't have him. And that's when the fight ensues. I didn't really think that they were going into depth about what happened, of how Candy gruesomely killed Betty, until the final episode. And you just seen how after she did it, she had to just portray, I got to go back to my normal life. You know, that in her mind didn't happen, just like how it was with Alan. Like, she turns her emotions on and off like it doesn't happen in her mind. She blocks things out. And you can tell that was stemming from childhood trauma that she suffered as a child. Like, she just knew how to block things out. And everything ensues. Fast forward into the questioning of who really killed Betty, and now we on to the trial, and that's where Don shines. You know, I forgot dude's name. He was in Ozark. Loved him as a lawyer, as playing Don, because Don was on it and really had an awkward and a way of defending Candy as just telling the truth, because basically it really was self-defense. Betty came at me, and that's when she confided him. She couldn't even confide in her own husband. That's how you knew that I was like, yeah, she a different level type of person, because she really blocking that out. And she looked at her own husband like, I can't even tell him, but I can tell you. So she always looked elsewhere other than her actual family. So that was her dynamic of what was wrong with Candy. And as the trial ensued, you know, it finds out that she was taking like Cyrax to kind of mentally numb herself, just to sit there and not be, you know, so emotional, just to kind of focus on if I'm gonna go to jail or not. And it just went through the trial for the last 2 episodes, and I was kind of like, man, this is so intense. And at the final episode, as I mentioned, they show how she brutally murdered Betty and how the fight ensued. And that's why I was kind of like, yeah, that was really self-defense, because she was about to leave after she whacked Betty. She was like, I'm about to leave. And Betty closed the door like, nope, you ain't leaving. And I was kind of like, yeah, well, now you got to go. So that was a whole thing in a nutshell, and finding out that what the verdict was. And I was kind of like just blown back. I was taken back that she started this whole thing, ended up murdering this man's wife, and gets off for it. So he was kind of in the position where he felt like it was his fault, but he couldn't accept the fact that, you know, he's like, I'm alone now, and I caused all this. So he ends up, you know, getting with someone else, and it turns out he was divorced later on, as you know, as the end credits kind of roll. But it was after, I feel like because of that, he couldn't be really stable. Like, he wasn't stable because of what he did in the beginning. So it was a lot to take in, because like I said, if you're in a relationship or you're in a marriage, it's a lot that some of that will mirror your own life in some way or fashion, you know, where it's like you deal with that, or it's a potential you could deal with that, or, you know, it's a lot in that taken away from that. And ElizabethOlsen delivered and carried the whole thing. Man, she deserves everything that she gets, because she delivered in all of it. From being the Scarlet Witch to this, she delivered. And I'm here for it. I truly give this a 10 out of 10. HBO does not lack when it comes to the limited series, and this is no different. So, you guys enjoyed my review of Love and Death on HBO Max, or just Max. Subscribe to my channel. Post a comment down below. Like the video. It's your boy, D. Dyson. Peace.